So the point is this, really, in all honesty, I've taken oath to defend the Constitution, and I stand by that because I've carefully looked at it, and there is nothing good in it. They have further added to the confusion, which I think I'd like to refer to just briefly. You know, the publication of the Gazette in June just adds to the confusion. The whole process of amending the Constitution should be simpler for the people to understand. Now, to know what is at play, you know what you need to do? You need the Constitution as amended in 2016. You need to have Bill 10, which was gazetted last year. You also need this fake document which was published in June. 3 documents in order to make sense out of it. Who does that? Who does that? And yet, if you are sincere and honest, you simplify the process. You don't complicate it. You see, because you want a buy-in from the people, you make it simpler, because the Constitution is for the people, not for you. If it is for the people, then make it easier for them to understand and appreciate what you're doing. It took me a couple of hours to make sense out of what the 2016 says, Bill 10 of last year, and the Bill 10 of June, to make sense out of it. Even I was struggling to try and make sense out of it, okay? But my training, my job is all about reading. But what about the common man on the street? Because that Constitution is also being amended in his name. Where does he first of all derive the time and the expertise to be able to go through that exercise?
Doesn't it confuse him more that there's another document that's in the newspapers,
okay,
that he's being told to read, and yet, depending on who you speak to,
yes,
even though there does seem to be agreement for most people,
yeah,
that the only bill in question here is the one that's sitting on the floor of the House.
That's right, because you see, they produce that. They don't even tell us, how do we relate to these 2 documents? Okay, what is the significance of the June one? What is the significance of the original Bill 10? All these things ought to be explained. How do we look at it? Okay, if they are telling us to say, oh, we have incorporated the amendments of the technical committee, the question is that lawful in the first place? Can you, in the midst of it, gazette the recommendations of the technical committee? Are those recommendations binding on the assembly in itself? Can we buy into that? You know, what is the effect of that? Is the House bound by what the committee has done? The answer is no. So, what they have done, they've done a very bad job. And what they have added is the confusion. You see, anything being done in the interest of the people should be simplified. People should be able to buy in. They can't buy into something they don't understand. The question then, what is your agenda for confusing these things?
I'll ask you one last question.
Yes.
Progressive or not?
Yes.
Progressive or not?
What?
The bill.
The bill.
Is it progressive? I keep hearing people say, this is a progressive bill. Lamia should support this because it's a progressive bill.
Okay.
Progressive or not?
Now, let me say this. It's like you saying, this woman is beautiful. But what makes her beautiful? You can't just make a pronouncement like that. You have to give your argument why you think this woman is beautiful. The same way with Bill 10. If you say it's progressive, tell us. What you're basically saying is that we're in a bad position. Bill 10 will put us in a better position. That is the only way you can say it is progressive. But the answer is, I have not heard anybody tell us how this country will move forward on account of Bill 10. Like I've demonstrated, what we get are lies from the vice president, from the president, from the minister, from the MPs about the benefits. And I have said, it's not enough for you to tell us to say it will address it. Show us the clause, educate us, show us. If you are saying it to improve the economy, read to us the clause which addresses the economy. And I'm saying there is nothing. Chiefs Rangos, show us which clause addresses the chief rangos. But in any case, we have had a system of resolving chiefs rangos. Okay, there have been so many cases over chieftainship being contested, which have been decided by the High Court. We have the Chiefs Act in place. So tell us, what are the shortcomings of the systems that we have had, which we already have in place? So that's the only way we can determine. Because first of all, when you say it's progressive, what is the problem with the existing constitution? What's the problem? Okay, you don't just change things for the sake of it. Like they say, if something is not broken, why do you want to fix it? It is working fine. And in any case, we have not even seen it work fully because certain institutions have not been created. What we should be looking at is to make sure that the rest of the institutions are created, the rest of the institutions are fully funded, okay? Then we'll be able to make a proper assessment. Certain parts of this constitution are still missing. How then do you want to change when you have not even put in place that which you are required to put in place? It's just crazy, you know? So the bottom line is this: it is not progressive. We are better off the way we are, with all the institutions, with all the provisions of the Constitution in place. You have your articles protecting political parties and their members. It is a progressive provision. There is no need to take it out. We have a provision to say the president has to get 50 plus 1%. It is progressive. It has to be supported. There is a provision, the Constitution does not make provision for deputy ministers. That should remain the position. It should not be taken out. There's a provision in Article 52 which allows us to contest the eligibility of a particular candidate before the Constitutional Court. That provision is progressive. It must be retained. It should not be removed. No case has been made for any of these changes. The other changes are basically useless, and there is no need to abolish any of those provisions, other institutions that are created in the Constitution. What we need to do is to appoint people to those positions. Okay? So, in conclusion, there is nothing good about this. We are dealing with a lame duck president, with a lame duck National Assembly. They do not have the right mandate to embark on an amendment to the Constitution. The role of a lame duck president is simply to wind up. He stay in office so that when there is a transition, whoever his successor takes over a better country, a better government, with better issues to address, not confusion.